Hey everybody, welcome back to another brand new episode of Throwback Thursday. Sorry for the late upload. It's probably not going to go up till like after 11 p.m. Eastern time. It's a really busy day. Had to get all your stuff shipped out from last night's Whatnot sale. I got that done at like 4:30, right as the post office was closing. And then we had to head off to a far away basketball game to watch my daughter play some basketball. She did very well. She got the championship belt, which goes to the MVP. Got the start and everything, so she was super happy there, even though they ended up losing. But since it was so far away, we didn't get back till just a little bit ago. So let's get into this. Right to it. 1992 Pinnacle. Also trying another new setting on the phone. I'm trying this at, I think it's 4K instead of standard definition. 60 frames per second rather than 30. So let's see what we can do here. Good old 92 Pinnacle. These boxes, they cost about, they're still very, very inexpensive, relatively speaking, to what you're used to paying. I paid $15 for this box. It was on the cellophane that I threw away, but yeah, there it is. I paid $15 for this box, and I probably bought this at the old Honey Hole, which was a really great little kind of like flea market, standalone indoor flea market, closed down like 6 years ago or so before the pandemic. And man, it was nice. They had such really, really cheap stuff there. Nowadays, these boxes are still very, very inexpensive. You can pick up a box of these for about $35 is the cheapest that I saw on eBay. So let's check it out. 92 Pinnacle. There is one notable rookie that we're looking for here. It's going to be Jeff Kent's rookie card. He just got recently into the Hall of Fame, or at least elected to the Hall of Fame from the Veterans Committee. We start off with Nolan Ryan. And I just got completely startled. It's 11 p.m. Eastern time, and my daughter just appeared out of nowhere. What, Emmy?
Also ask, can you wake us up at 8 o'clock?
Will do. Rex Hudler right there. Gets an Idols card. Sid Fernandez. I used to hate him a whole bunch as a kid. A whole bunch of players I used to hate, including this guy, Kevin Appier. That is the one card Kevin Appier doesn't look like a blowfish with his cheeks all puffed out. You know what I'm talking about if you collected cards back in the day. And Cal Daniels. Unfortunately, no Hall of Famers in this one. I believe there's 320 cards in this specific series. And there's some really nice inserts in here. I'm looking forward to the inserts. You saw the Nolan Ryan already. You saw the Idols card, 2 inserted in that very first one. So I'm going to get this one sleeved up. Some of these cards will sell in our next singles show, which I think next week we might not even do a singles show. I think we might finally do the 30,000 follower giveaway / live breaks on Tuesday night. It's a pretty cool card. Tom Candiotti with the grip, showing how he throws his knuckleball. Jose Melendez right there. Pedro Stasio rookie card. 36 packs back in the day. Wasn't it nice to get all these packs? I feel like before long we're gonna have like, what, 10 packs. We got 20 packs in hobby boxes now. There's Jack Morris. He's a Hall of Famer. I'll take out all the Hall of Famers and sleeve them up, even though he's not one of the top guys. And another thing about this set, look at the black borders all over the place. Good luck getting a PSA 10 on any of these cards. It's going to be really, really tough. Here's the next one. We got the headliners. That's Scott Erickson from back in the day, showing off his... That's actually John Wetland. John Wetland was a musician. I think now he's in jail. We won't talk too much about him anymore. Circle Change. Greg Maddux. That's a cool card right there. Greg Maddux showing off his... Circle Change. There's a great card right there, Ken Griffey Jr. And can we just appreciate how nice these cards look? 92 Pinnacle. They were a little more expensive than your standard pack. I think a standard pack in 92 of Topps was like 69 cents. And these were probably about double or so. That's an awesome card. Just love the back. I used to love these cards, but they, like I said, I was always very frugal with my money. I would rather buy multiple packs of Topps at 69 cents rather than just a couple packs of these. There's Rickey Henderson, the great Rickey Henderson right there. No Jeff Kent yet, the most notable rookie in this set. On to the next one, of course, with 92, like all the good rookies are going to be in Bowman. There's Brett Butler laying a bunt down. Known for that. Looks like you get about 2 inserts per pack. I don't know who the heck was David Cohn's idol right there. His idol was Jackie Gleason. That's interesting right there. Jackie Gleason. Mark Lemke right there. Kevin Ape. We're going to see some repeats, especially if we do every single pack. Sometimes when we have 36 packs and we start getting quadruples, we kind of just shut it down once we get through a couple stacks. I don't know if we'll do that or not. We'll see. All these base cards, I'll probably just be putting them off to the side. Ben Rivera right there. I've got so many cards laying around. I'm thinking about just maybe doing giveaway packs every couple minutes on Whatnot, where I just take all the cards, throw them into team bags, and give them all away as, you know, follower appreciation prizes, in addition to all the free packs we give away to the buyers. That's just something that was floating through my head today. Like, how am I going to get rid of all these cards I have laying around? And every week there's more. Here's our next one. Got the Idols card there. Steve Avery and Jack Morris. It's a cool card. Benito Santiago. Release from behind the ear, overhand throw. 1 step towards target. Breaking down how you throw out a runner. Although I feel like Benito Santiago was kind of a little bit nonchalant back there. A lot of times you just throw from his knees. Charlie O'Brien, I used to not really care for him that much. Jose Rijo. A lot of commons back then. Stan Belinda I used to like a whole bunch. Sidewinder for the Buccos. Reliever, there's Dave Winfield. And Damon Berryhill. No chance of autos or anything like that back in 92. Not even any chance of numbered cards. It was all about inserts. That card I always liked, Tom Glavine. That may have been my first ever hockey card as a kid. Charles Nagy throwing his slider. Scott Scudder I always thought looked like some sort of comic, like just comic book character or something like that. I always thought he looked very strange. There's Mike Huff. Barry Bonds. There we go. The Home Run King. Love this card. Man, he was so good. Wonder if he'll ever get into the Hall of Fame during our lifetime. I hope so. We'll see. Here's another great one. Tony Gwynn. Just at, like, career batting average, 328. That's insane. Such a great hitter. And I feel lucky to say I got to see him play live. I got to actually go. I think the first Pirate game I can ever remember going to was against the Padres. And Tony Gwynn hit a foul ball to my section just a few rows back. That's a nice one right there. Roberto Alomar with his idol, Sandy Alomar, his dad. Put that in the Hall of Fame stack. Shades. Benito Santiago, kind of all over the place in this product. Just has his name real big in the back. He was the Rookie of the Year a few years prior in, 1987, I believe it was. Solid backstop. Never really all that great offensively. He ended up with the Pirates for 1 year, I think in the early 2000s. At the tail end of his career, there's Rafael Belliard flying through the air. Next one up, Joe Oliver. And another Shades card. Can you guess who it is? I think David Justice, right? Let's see. Yep, Dave Justice. Cool card right there. I feel like some of these concepts like the Shades have been recycled in other releases, more recent releases. I think maybe Topps did something like that. Topps did something with cleats, I know, a couple years back as well. Remember Flashiest Feet was another one. Sometimes I think they're just running out of ideas for insert sets. Here's our next one up on this Throwback Thursday. Originally, I thought I was going to be doing Bowman Draft Megas today, but my Mega Boxes have been stuck in Texas ever since that ice storm. I don't know when they're going to come in. Hopefully tomorrow. Man, this is probably, if I had to make a list of my least favorite cards ever, this would be one of them. I never really cared for Jim Gott, and I thought that this card was just so narcissistic as a kid that I hated it. Jim Gott flying through the air, doing a karate kick, a kick. And I always thought that Jim Gott always looked completely out of shape on all of his cards. So this card just never made sense to me. My brother also would hate that card. Here we have a grip. What do we got? The curveball of David Cohn. Good old Wally Joyner right there. He was good for a few years. Charlie Hayes, Key Brian Hayes' dad. Not as good a fielder as his son, but a better hitter. Chad Curtis. Another bum right there we won't talk too much about. Gary Carter. And Carlton Fisk there as well. Man, there's some players throughout the years that have run into some legal trouble. I could probably make a whole lineup of them, and that would be an interesting exercise. Got guys from Esteban Loaiza, who would go on to be a drug lord, to Felipe Vasquez, former All-Star Pirates closer from a few years ago, who's still in jail. Of course, everyone knows about Wander Franco. There's Billy Ripken right there. And Tim Belcher. Interesting last name. I always thought that was interesting. Tim Belcher. No Jeff Kent yet. Hopefully we can get him. So I picked this box out. I was like, all right, what am I going to open from this list or this stack of sealed wax? Let's do a Jeff Kent rookie search. That's Tim Raines. Tim Raines on the shades. He's a Hall of Famer. Dave Justice right there. These first-round pick cards, I don't think they didn't do a really good job with that draft. It seems like a lot of these guys were misses. I briefly scanned over the rookies, and there's not much in here outside of Jeff Kent. Mike Gallego there in the last pack. Kind of liked how they did different players on the packs, like Ruben Sierra right there, Don Mattingly right there, Tom Glavine right there. You got Jeff Bagwell right there. So that's kind of cool. I saw them do that a couple years ago, 2022 Heritage. They did that as well. Ron Darling starts this next one off. We've got Rod Carew. Don Mattingly's hero is Rod Carew. That's pretty cool. It's a good hero to have. Ricky Henderson with the steal and a base. Brian Jordan. Jack Morris for the second time. Charlie Hayes once again. Looks like he got a stinger on his hand or something the way he's reacting to that. Ever hit a ball off the end of the bat? I'm sure if you played ball, you know what I'm talking about. Nothing going on. A lot of repeats. Repeats all over the place. I'd like to get another Ken Griffey Jr. though. Like, we'll take that. Another Bonds, another Griffey. Please, no more Charlie Hayes. There's that Roberto Alomar card. If we're repeating, like, the inserts now, that's not a great sign. Let's see what else. We got Reggie Sanders. He was not too bad. Had some good years. Bobby Bowe. And then Bob Walk. I used to hate Bob Walk, and now I really grew to like him a lot. He's one of my favorite announcers. If I have the choice of the Pirates broadcast team, I'm going to listen to the one that has Bob Walk and Greg Brown on it. Here we go with this next one. Mike Perez, famous for his 93 upper deck card, which was an optical illusion. That's a cool card. Randy Johnson with his giant camera. And he's, I guess he's, to this day, I think that's what he does. He goes around and takes pictures at concerts and stuff like that. He's actually a professional photographer. Randy Johnson, Steve Sachs, and Rob Deere. One of the worst hitters. Career batting average at the time was .218. He hit .179 the year before, but he had a little bit of power, and that kept him on the rosters. Nowadays, .218 batting average, yeah, probably just a slightly below average. These days, as the average player, if you hit .240, you're just fine and dandy. Who do we have here? Is that Jim Catfish Hunter on the background with Scott Sanderson, so Hall of Fame right there. Shades, that looks like, who is this? Is that, it looks like Eric Davis. It is. Eric Davis almost threw me for a loop because he's not in a Reds uniform there. There's Ryan Sandberg. Used to like this card a lot. Who the heck is Mike Gropp-Uso? I have never, ever seen this guy in my life. If you would have taken the name away and said, Jabs, give you a Hannes Wagner, T206, if you could tell me who this player is, I would have failed. I bet everyone else would have failed as well. What a completely obscure draft pick. Probably never made the big leagues. But he gets a card. I'm sure that he still gets this card sent to him. If he does through the mail, it probably shows up all the time. He's probably signed it a million times. And Keith Miller wraps up that one. We're just about halfway through this box of good old 92. Pinnacle, I would have been 11 years old. There's Jackie Gleason again. Tim Raines once more. Seeing the repeats once more with the inserts. Never heard of Peter Hoy either. Slammin' Sammy. First time seeing Sammy Sosa. Even though he's not a Hall of Famer, I always take him out and put him in the good stack. You never know. Guys like Sosa and, I mean, I take out guys like Bo Jackson all the time because he sells very, very well. Whenever I go through junk cards, like junk wax era cards, I take out all the Hall of Famers and put them in a stack, and I take out the ones that I think will be Hall of Famers someday. Like Don Mattingly, Dale Murphy gets picked out, Kurt Schillings get picked out, Sammy Sosa's, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Kenny Lofton. Now, that's a cool card right there. Kenny Lofton, 92 prospect. I like it. Good looking card right there. Another one of these. Steve Avery showing how to throw his fastball. Jacob Brumfield, former Pirate. Brady Anderson, former huge steroid cheater. How did he go from hitting 2 home runs in 113 games to a few years later hitting 50? Like, that makes no sense. There's Pat Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes' dad. And we've got a good one here. Randy Johnson, the big unit, back in his heyday with the big cat sticking to him there. Andres Galarraga. Randy Johnson was so good. Used to walk a lot of guys earlier in his career. 152 walks in 201 innings. That's you're getting close to 1 walk per inning there in 1991. But once he got the command down, man, he just became an all-time great. There's Ricky Henderson in there as well. So a few Rickies. Here's the next one. Next pack. What are they promoting on the back? Rookie Idols. 18 cards featuring 1992's top prospects was what we're after here. The Rookie Idols, we haven't seen any of those yet. I don't think we have we? No, I don't think we have. Looks like their landscape card. It's a spin-off of the Idols subset. So we'll see if we can maybe find one of those. Pat Lestache used to be a big rookie in 92. Never worked out very much. Is that Earl Hershiser right there? I think it is. Very interesting card right there. Earl Hershiser is one of the all-time greats. Not a Hall of Famer, though. Brady Anderson comes up again. It's Greg Jeffries. Man, everybody was so all about Greg Jeffries back in 88, 89. He just never, the power never really developed. I remember thinking, man, I want to be just like Greg Jeffries because I read an article. Greg Jeffries used to get into his swimming pool in the backyard and swing his bat underwater to give him basketball. I was like, wow, that's so smart. I want to do that. I wish I had a swimming pool so I could be just like Greg Jeffries. But I guess it just wasn't enough. There's that Don Mattingly once again. He was an all-star, but his cards never really were worth anything. He was never a breakout superstar. There's Tony Gwynn. And Kevin Brown, the first ever pitcher to get $100 million. Kevin Brown. He was definitely a juicer, I think. As were a lot of these guys from this era. And we've got the Jim Catfish Hunter again. There's Ryan Sandberg once more. Kind of lame that these, like, we're going to see probably like 3 or 4 of the same insert cards in the same box. Should have just made more subjects. There's Mariano Duncan. Didn't he go crazy in the Winter League and just try to, like, literally take somebody out with a bat? Allegedly, I should say, because I can't remember. But add him to the Penal League that we were talking about earlier. Mariano Duncan. I have no idea if that's true or not, but yeah. Brawl at the plate, Mariano Duncan is what it says here. I have to do a little more research before I throw Mariano Duncan under the bus. Maybe it was Jose Offerman I'm thinking of. One of these middle infielders. There's Ken Griffey Jr. Man, that's a nice card too. Like, the corners look really good on it. Got me thinking, if I set that up to PSA, what would we get on that? That makes me wonder, what would a Pinnacle 1992 card like a Griffey or a Nolan Ryan? Ryan, we haven't seen yet. He's in Series 1. But if you were lucky enough to send that off to PSA somehow and get a PSA 10 on it, what would something like that be worth? Is there a lot of demand for that? If we go to eBay and we go to recently sold and we take a look at some of the highest recently sold items, the Nolan Ryan at PSA 10 sold for $370. So I would imagine Griffey wouldn't be too far behind, and that Griffey sells for $275. So I was just curious there. $275, $270. It's crazy. It might be worth taking a gamble, sending that in for $20. Pretty sick looking card right there, that Griffey. Some of these I do see little touches of white on some of these, but that Griffey looked exceptional. There's Earl Hershiser once again. Like this Jack Morris, I could see like a whole bunch of like white edging along that particular card. And Gary Carter, Hall of Famer right there. Next one. Still no Jeff Kent. What the heck? I figured we'd have like 6 Jeff Kent cards out of here. We got freaking Craig Myers, his teammate back in '92. Anthony Young. Willie Stargell. That's pretty cool. And who was his? Is that Tony Tarasco? I have no idea. David Justice. That didn't look like David Justice right there on that picture. Man, I gotta put this aside and get this to my brother. Jose Lind, who was one of the worst players at this time. I was looking at his stats, and he's just career WAR of like 3 for his entire career. They gave him a Shades card, which is interesting. My brother loved Jose Lind, and that was his favorite player, so I got to put that in the good pile. I personally have a little bit of an issue with Jose Lind because remember the whole Sid Bream inning where Sid Bream scored the winning run? Jose Lind had a big error. Normally shorthanded before that all started. Let's see what else we got. I guess props to my brother for not being a bandwagon fan, because I guess you could say I was a bandwagon Pirate fan because I was all about Van Slyke, Bonds, and Bonilla. There's Kenny Lofton. Sid Bream, former Bucko right there, who broke all of our hearts in 1992. That freaking slide. Next one up. Willie Randolph on the back. Rod Beck. Unfortunately not around anymore. He passed away. We've got that 3rd or 4th Don Mattingly insert card right there. Craziness. Jack Morris has probably been there 4 times. Charlie Hayes has been there like 4 times. But no Jeff Kent. I was like, oh, it'd be nice. We'll find a Jeff Kent rookie card since he's going to the Hall of Fame with Andrew Jones and Carlos Beltran. That's news, notable. Bobby Bowe right there. There we go. That's one of those cards we were talking about, the rookie idols. Of course, we get one of the worst rookies in Derek Bell. I personally hate Derek Bell. He was signed by the Pirates, I think, in 2001 or 2003 or something like that. And he literally said, I'm not playing for you. And he lived on his houseboat outside of PNC Park. And he actually gave it a name. He said, I'm doing Operation Shutdown because my knee doesn't feel all that great. I'm not playing. But at least there's Dave Winfield on there. So that's that insert set that they're pumping on the back of the packs. And I always wondered, by the way, what this little thing is, this little eye trick. I could never do those. Those magic eyes, ever see that? They have them on the bottom of the cards, and I could never get my eyes to show me what that was. Super frustrating as a kid, and even to this day, it's on every card down there. I can't get it to work. So if you could tell me if these are all the same, I don't know. Can anyone get that to work? Here, we'll go ahead and zoom in on it. go ahead and take a look. Here, we'll make it easier. Look at that right there. And tell me what that even says on that Pat Henkin. Never will understand. Let's go back to 1X on that and see what else we can find. Alejandro Pena, Dave Winfield once again. Yeah, overall, not a terrible box. I mean, I could probably sell off some of these singles. And I mean, for a $15 box, that Griffey alone, if I could send that in and get a 9 on it, I'd be happy with that. That would easily pay for the box and then some. There's Randy Johnson once more. Repeats again. And slamming Sammy for the second time. Here's our last stack. Last hope at a Jeff Kent rookie card. From good old 1992 Pinnacle. This box has been on my shelf for years. There's that David Justice. Jose Lean ×2. Save that for my brother's birthday. Oh, we used to hate Vaughn Hayes so much. For no other reason than he had just a terrible mustache. Nothing else in that pack. 16 cards per pack, 36 packs. Just a ton of cards here. By the way, the breaks tomorrow are opened up. I opened them up late, so sorry about that. If you go to bed early on Thursday nights, I open up about 10:30. What is Teddy? Where's that ball going? Teddy Higuera is just like spiking one. Glenn Allen Hill. At least we're getting some cards we haven't seen yet. I don't remember seeing the Higuera there. But yeah, our breaks tomorrow will be the Find the Auto Friday games and rounds. And we also have some Pick Your Team rounds with black and white. And there's a round of Cosmic. There's a round of Bowman Draft, Jumbo and Super. There's a Tier 1 round in there as well. And the 50 Hobby Pack round. All ready to go. Go grab your team now or Friday morning and get locked in. Carlton Fisk. Near the end of his career, man, Carlton Fisk, his rookie card was 1972 tops, 20 years before this even came out. He's a catcher. He's still going. Pretty impressive. That's why he's a Hall of Famer. All right, well, John Vanderwall, who was a pinch hitter extraordinaire back in the day, getting some different cards. Super failed prospect, Todd Van Poppel. What do we have? Rex Sudler once again. Dave Justice. Bobby Witt Jr.'s dad is in that pack as well. I can't believe we are not going to see a Jeff Kent. 4 packs left to find him. Lance Johnson, who was really good at hitting triples. Lots of repeats on the inserts. Dave Nilsson from Australia. Matt Stairs, another good pitch hitter. And we'll be down to the last couple packs. I will say, by the way, that after all these years, 92 Pinnacle, ever take a nice big stack like this, get it all ready to go, and just give it a nice smell. Like these cards smell like they were printed yesterday. Like these packs, these wrappers did a really nice job of locking in that 1992 smell. And you know what I'm talking about. You can remember the smell of freshly printed baseball cards, I'm sure. Ricky Henderson for like the 5th time. At least it's Ricky Henderson. We'll take it. Rick Sutcliffe is in there. Greg Jeffries for who knows how many times. Welp. 2 packs left. And clean some of this up. Before I open those last 2 packs, I'll give you the Whatnot code real quick. We have a whole bunch of buyer appreciations as always. Every single break that we do, I give away free stuff. Every 5 teams that you buy in the breaks, you get a free hobby pack. So you buy 10 teams, that's 2 hobby packs. And we also give away free jerseys in each of the Pick Your Team rounds. So come on by, check it out. We're live every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday with some breaks. And Friday we do kind of like anything you want to do. Like I'll put polls up. If you want to do a random team break with the spinny wheel, we can do that. If you want to do a Find the Auto game, where if you find the auto, you get a prize, we can do that. If you want to do personal packs, we can do that. If you want to do the Pick Your Team breaks exclusively, you can keep adding those. Then Tuesday is usually our singles day. I think next week, though, I'm going to replace that with that 30,000 subscriber live stream. I got to check my daughter's basketball schedule first to make sure she doesn't have a game. We'll check that first. There's Greg Maddox once again. Ken Griffey Jr. You know what? That's the third one. Why not just send all three of them in and see if we can get 110? I might do that. I pull out the card savers and slide them in there. See what can happen. Here we go. Last stack. Last pack. Jeff Kent. Where are you? We're not going to get him, are we? Denny Nagel, rookie card. Todd Hundley. Had a 40 home run season. Kirk Gibson. At least we're getting a couple new players. Former 88 MVP there with the Pirates in 92. And unfortunately, I don't know how that happens, but all those cards could even pull one of the big boys. Missing out on the Jeff Kent rookie card. So, he was card number 522 of the set. I don't know how we missed him. We'll show you, by the way, what the card looks like. I would just want to show you Jeff Kent rookie card here. I guess I can bring it up. And this is what we were after all this time. Did not find him. Jeff Kent's rookie card right here. There it is. PSA 10. It sold for $175 recently, too, in a PSA 10. So, it would have been nice to have found him, but I still appreciate you all watching and allowing me to open this box of cards. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Thursday. Check us out in the Friday, Face-Off Friday, Find the Auto Friday breaks. We'll be back tomorrow with hopefully some Bowman Draft Megas as well. I'll add a Bowman Draft Mega round to the breaks, pick your team style, if I can get those in tomorrow. I'll probably head on over to Tops and look at the updated tracking and see if they've moved yet from Texas. So thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your Thursday night. Sorry for the late upload, but still up there before midnight to continue our streak of uploading every single day since 2019. Have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Good night, everybody.